Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good tevach, Shua Tov. We are learning Mishna Yisukah. Oh, actually, I made a mistake. Not 13, 12. We're learning Mishna Yisukah, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Yud Beis, Mishnah 12. Okay. Barishayna, originally, Hayalulav Nital Bamikdash Shiva. The lulav, meaning the lulav esrog adasim and aravis, very often the Mishnah just calls it lulav, but it means, of course, all four species. Lulav nita b'mikdash shiva. The lulav was taken in the Beis Hamikdash for 7 days. Uva Medina in the provinces, which means outside of the Beis Hamikdash, yom echad, 1 day. Now this is derived from words in the Torah that lifnei Hashem. It says you will rejoice before Hashem. Before Hashem means in the Beis Hamikdash. That is where you're going to take the lulav and esrog all 7 days of Sukkot. According to Torah law, the lulav is all 7 days only in the Beis Hamikdash. Uva Medina in the provinces, which means outside of the Beis Hamikdash, yom echad. According to Torah law, only 1 day, the first day. Okay. Mishachar Beis Hamikdash. Once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Hiskar Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, the sage Rabbi Yochanan, the son of Zakkai, instituted Sheyehi lulav nital b'Medina shiva, that the lulav should be taken all 7 days of Sukkot, Zeicher LaMikdash, to remember that which we had, that's which we did when we had a Beis Hamikdash. So the fact that we take lulav and esrog all 7 days is based on this rabbinic institution of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, that the lulav is taken even by Medina, even in the provinces, all 7 days. We don't have a mikdash to commemorate what we had in the times of the mikdash. We therefore now even outside of the Beis Hamikdash, take lulav and esrog all 7 days, except for Shabbos. Shabbos, we don't take the lulav and esrog. Okay, the next institution of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was Shehei Yom Hanev Kulei Aser, that on the day of waving, it is the entire day is forbidden. The entire day of waving is forbidden. Now, what this is referring to is the following. We know at the times of Beis Hamikdash, on the second day of Pesach, there was the carbon omer. There was the omer offering. It was a mincha. It was a meal offering from the first ripened barley. Until that offering was brought, one was not allowed to eat from the new crops of that year. That's called chadash. One is not permitted to eat from the new crops of that year, meaning what preceded, what grew preceding this Pesach, and you could not eat from those new crops until the omer was brought. Okay, once the omer was brought, whatever was planted the year before, you could eat from. Now, the times of the Beis Hamikdash, you could only when did the new crops become permitted? On the second day of Pesach, after the omer was offered. Until the omer was offered, even if it's the second day, the omer was offered on the second day of Pesach. If the second day of Pesach began and the omer wasn't yet offered, it was still forbidden to eat until the omer was offered. Now, however, once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, at that point, even according to Torah law, the new grain became permitted once the second day of Pesach began. This is derived from the words of the Torah, that when there's a Beis Hamikdash, you have to wait for the omer to be offered. If there's no Beis Hamikdash, then once you have the second day of Pesach begins, which would have been the day that you would have brought the omer, but if you're not bringing the omer because there's no Beis Hamikdash, once the second day of Pesach begins, you're already permitted to eat chadash, to eat the new grains. Now, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted that without a Beis Hamikdash, we're not going to allow you to eat from the new crops once the second day begins, but only after the second day is over. Only once the second day is completed. After the second day, that's when you can eat from the new crops. Why? Because he was concerned. He was concerned that b'mehera yibana hamikdash, soon the Beis Hamikdash will be rebuilt. Mashiach will come. Beis Hamikdash will be rebuilt. We'll be bringing the omer offering, which means you can't eat from the new grain until after the omer is offered. But people are going to be confused because last year when Mashiach wasn't here, we started eating it at the beginning of the day. Mm-hmm. So they're going to think that even now, when the Beis Hamikdash is back and we're bringing the omer offering, where halachically you cannot eat from the new grain until after the Omer is brought, they're going to say, well, last year we ate from the beginning of the day. This year we can do the same thing. And we won't be able to because you have to bring the Omer first. Therefore, Yochanan Zakkai instituted the entire day is forbidden. And that's what it means, Yom Hanef Kulei Aser, the day of waving. The day of waving is the day that the Omer was brought. The Omer is called Omer HaTanufa, the Omer that is waved, because it's waved in all four directions. And the Torah calls Shavuos, calls the second day of Pesach, the Yom HaNivchem As HaOmer, the day that you wave the Omer. So therefore, that second day of Pesach, which is the day that the Omer is offered, was called the Yom Hanef, the day of waving. And that's what the Mishnah means. Yom Hanef Kulei Aser, the day of waving, meaning the second day of Pesach, the whole day should be forbidden. And that will take care of the problem, because if people can't wait until after the second day is over, when the Beis HaMikdash comes, by that time already, the Omer will be offered and everything will be covered. So people say, well, last year we had to wait a whole day. This year we'll wait too. All right. At the end of the day, have to wait a whole day. By that time, the Omer is going to be brought anyway, and everything is going to be fine. Okay. Have a wonderful day.
Does that mean that you can't